and welcome to another edition of Filmmakers Forum. I'm your host, Rachel Nima, and joining us today is film student Brittney Meyerhardt.
Hello.
Hey, welcome to the show, Brittney.
Glad to be here.
Nice to see you. So, what got you interested in filmmaking?
As a kid, I always enjoyed movies and had a big imagination. So, always kind of had the dream to be a director. At career days at school, when you get the opportunity to research jobs and things like that, I'd always research directing and, you know, how to become one and what they make and how difficult it is to really make it as a director. So, I've been at Scottsdale Community College at their film program for about 3 years now. So, and I've enjoyed every second of it.
Oh, so now that you're kind of in full pursuit, what do you find the most rewarding about filmmaking?
Everything, really. But the favorite part for me is being on set. As a director, being able to see your vision coming to life and, you know, the relationships you build while you're on set and the people you meet, it's really the most rewarding feeling.
So I heard that your new project that you're working on right now is called Eduardo and Ted. Would you tell us a little bit about that film?
Yeah, it's a romantic comedy. It's about a guy named Ted. He's kind of an awkward, lowly office worker, and he does impersonations over the phone to the customers. And one day he gets on the phone with a beautiful girl and creates this Latin persona called Eduardo. And they end up hitting it off, and she ends up asking him out on a date. So it's kind of him figuring out how to be himself. And I don't want to ruin the ending, so you'll just have to see it.
All right. Well, when we return, we'll sit down with Director of Photography Mike Perry to talk about the lighting styles he chose to use while working on the project Eduardo and Ted. Welcome back to Filmmakers Forum. I'm your host, Rachel Nima, and we're here with director Brittney Meyerhardt and DP Mike Perry. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right, so Mike, I know there were some interesting choices you had to make with lighting and, you know, the setting up of composition.
Yeah,
would you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, Brittney and I discussed early on in pre-production, you know, the style she was going for and the lighting she kind of wanted for this, and we knew right away, you know, it's a romantic comedy, so, you know, high key, you know, not too distracting for the viewer, just kind of in the background lighting. So that's kind of what we went with, and we let our locations kind of establish the lighting as well, because we were in an office where it was very drab, fluorescent lighting, and then we're in this really beautiful loft in downtown Phoenix for the lead actress's apartment. And so we had nice, you know, light pouring in through the windows, and I had to make sure I could expose to see the outside. Mainly because we wanted to establish that this took place in a big city, and we're in Arizona, and we really don't have big city looks, so we tried to utilize downtown Phoenix as much as possible. So that was part of it, and then the character Ted doing his impersonations, we wanted to play on that a little bit too, so we would do some specialty lighting, as I would call it, for him doing his impersonations.
Specialty lighting, all right. Speaking on behalf of me and probably most people at home, what does that
Well,
Me
the rest of
either.
the movie, it's supposed to be a consistent look to it, but in these certain cases, I did this special lighting where he was
Okay.
doing impersonations of different characters from different movies, and I would mimic the lighting to those specific scenes in those movies. And
Could
so
you
that was-
mimic one of those accents?
Can I?
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't know, but he did like he did a few good ones, and the actor Cavan was really good at it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, lighting, and a lot of the shots were just the camera. We decided to go with handheld, so the camera work was kind of another element in the comedy. So we do a lot of whip reveals and play with that a little
Okay.
bit. So
So this definitely kind of sound like a bit of obstacles. And speaking of, this is a question for you both.
yeah.
What kind of obstacles or challenges did you guys face during this project?
Well, throughout the thing, it's kind of organized chaos. But one of the obstacles that I faced, that was probably the biggest, a week prior to when we were supposed to shoot, we hadn't quite worked out my main actor, who we knew who we wanted, but the scheduling was conflicting. So we had to rearrange with locations and make sure that we could switch around what days we were planning to shoot. Luckily, it all
Okay.
worked out, and we were able to get him, and I'm thankful for it because he did wonderfully. So just a week prior, everything needs to fall into place, so it was just a little chaotic there.
Well, if you ever need an Ed or an Eduardo, I mean, I could see what I could do.
Sure.
There
How-
we go.
Speaking of obstacles, I heard you guys are a couple. So tell me, how does that exactly play out? I mean, it must be hard to kind of work together at times.
I think we did really well.
I don't see you holding hands or anything.
The director-DP relationship is a very intimate one anyway, on a film set, so I feel like having, being as familiar with each other as we were, that helped a lot as far as communication and knowing what we wanted and being able to get that across. At times it's frustrating and we're trying to get things done, and so, there was definitely stressful moments, but nothing that affected us as a couple, so.
Saw him look over. It was frustrating. You saw the sweetest face.
I mean, that's my opinion. I don't know. You can ask him and
Well,
see.
Pre-production and when we were away from the rest of the cast and crew was where we would sometimes have our more difficult moments, and that's where it should have happened anyway. And when we got on set, we knew everyone's looking to us, so there's no reason why we should be showing any really stressful or tense moments between each other. And when we were on set, it was good. It was we were both on the same page almost all the time. We'd go
Same page of the script, hopefully.
Yes.
most of the time. But we'd both be looking at monitor. She'd be happy, and I was getting what I wanted. I knew I was getting what she wanted, and so it was like all that stress and hassle in pre-production was paying off, and that was awesome to know and be on set and feel that way. And so we didn't have to step aside, and take a moment. But
Yeah.
but there definitely were those moments where and that happens on every film set where there's conflicting visions going around and disagreements happening. But I think overall that's why we got what we did, was because we were so prepared and we worked well on set together.
Yeah, well, of course. And I'm sure seeing this come to life, it's kind of like each scene is basically a kid. And I know we all have our favorites, Mom, Dad. So what do you think your guys's would be?
Favorite scene? That's hard.
Yeah.
I would say, for romantic purposes, that the restaurant scene was one of my favorites, just because the performances were so spot on, and at monitor while it was being shot, just seeing my vision come to life really felt good. As far as comedy, I'd say The Office. It was just a fun location. We were in there for 2 whole days, so all the scenes that take place in The Office are very funny, and I'm excited to see them. So.
All right, and as for yourself, Mike?
Obstacles for me came with the locations and trying to light them sometimes, because The Office had daylight and fluorescence, which give totally different color qualities, and so battling that and trying to balance that out was kind of difficult at times. And shooting in a bathroom was really difficult, I found.
Not taking those pictures, though, get those mirror shots.
Yeah. And just working with a new crew, I would say, but they ended up doing really well, and I was really impressed with a lot of the crew. But A lot of them were people I'd never worked with, and just they were all there for us, and I could tell, and so it was really nice to be able to utilize them and work with them, and they really did the job.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, so when does Eduardo and Ted come out? When can there be an audience to see it?
Spring of next year.
Spring of next year.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's still a lot of work to be done in the editing process. So we're hoping spring of next year for the Scottsdale Community Film Festival, and we're hoping to go to many others across the United States, hopefully. So
Whoa, going on tour.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get it out there.
They're gonna think that's like an indie rock group, like Eduardo and Ted. You know?
Yeah, it's going on tour.
you might need like a subtitle.
Whatever helps.
Yeah.
Well, that's a bit of ways though. So how can we keep everybody updated?
We do have a Facebook page.
Okay.
We're going to be putting pictures and videos and sneak peeks up there, leading all the way up to the big release. So go like us, follow up with us, tell your friends about us. We'd love to see you on there. So.
All right. Well, it was really nice having you guys on the show.
Thank you so much.
Today. All right.
Thank you.
So as you heard it here, check out their Facebook page, which is Facebook.com/Eduardo and Ted. Thank you for joining us today. We'll see you here next time on Filmmakers Forum.